John Edward Beam was never just a football coach. For over 4 decades, he was a beacon of hope in Oakland, a man who believed in second chances, discipline, and the power of caring enough to stay when others would walk away. When he stepped onto the Laney College campus that crisp November morning in 2025, no one could have guessed how his life would abruptly come to its tragic end. In the morning of November 13th, 2025, it was a Thursday just before noon when John Beam arrived at the Laney College Fieldhouse, where he served as athletic director, having retired from coaching the year prior. The autumn sun streamed through the windows, lighting up the hardwood floors where so many of his players had trained, sweated, and dreamed. He greeted a few early arriving staff, offering his usual firm handshake and warm laugh, a ritual that made people feel seen and valued. But Beam's thoughts were heavier than usual. In the days leading up to this moment, he had grown increasingly worried about campus safety. He remembered how, years ago, Laney had contracted armed deputies through the county sheriff's office, a presence that gave him and the students, including others, coaches, a sense of protection. That contract had ended, replaced by unarmed security. Just yesterday, he had voiced his concern. The field house, the corridors, even the parking lots felt more vulnerable now. Still, he carried on with his day. He moved with purpose, checking on schedules, handling administrative tasks, touching base with the trainers and younger coaches who looked up to him. There was order in his life, even when the world felt chaotic. He believed in structure. Then, just before noon, the tragedy unfolded within a twinkle of an eye. According to campus reports, a shot rang out inside the fieldhouse. Beam was struck down by a gunman. The bullet hit him in the head. Shock rippled through the building, panicked shouts. People froze. Others ran to call for help. Within minutes, medics arrived, rushing him to Highland Hospital. His condition was critical. Oakland police were quick to respond. Witnesses described confusion and fear, but one thing became painfully clear. This wasn't random. Authorities later referred to it as a very targeted incident. That evening, surveillance footage was being reviewed. The campus was on lockdown. Students and staff were held in place while investigators secured the scene. A man was arrested in the early hours of the next morning, and the community shattered. Cedric Irving Jr., 27, was taken into custody at a BART station in San Leandro, according to police. They found a gun, and investigators believed it matched the weapon used in the shooting Beam that day. What made the case even more heart-wrenching was that Beam and the alleged suspect knew each other. They were not strangers. Irving had played high school football at Skyline High School in Oakland, the same school where Beam had once been head coach. But according to officials, they were not close friends or longtime confidants. On Friday morning, November 14th, 2025, at around 10 a.m., Beam was pronounced dead in the hospital. He was 66 years old. The news sent a shockwave through Oakland, through the football community, the college, the city. Vigils sprang up. At the fieldhouse gate, candles were lit, signs were raised. One read simply, "Coach Beam, you're in our hearts." Former players, colleagues, and community leaders gathered to mourn. A legacy remembered. If you ask people what made John Beam so special, they'd say, he didn't just coach players, he mentored people. He gave chances to those who'd been overlooked. His philosophy went beyond X's and O's. It was about values, about trust, about building men and women who could now stand on their own. Former players from Laney College, some of whom went on to the NFL, posted heartfelt tributes. Piedmont Police Chief Frederick Chaves, who looked up to Beam since his own teenage years, described him as more than a coach. A father figure, Oakland Mayor Barbara Lee, called him a giant of the city, someone who had shaped thousands of young lives. His legacy wasn't measured in just wins and titles, though there were many, but in the countless young people he inspired, disciplined, and believed in. The circumstances of his death raised urgent, painful questions. Why had safety concerns he voiced out gone unaddressed? How could someone he knew be driven to such violence? As authorities pressed on, the community rallied not just to mourn, but to demand change. Beam's death rekindled calls to address gun violence, especially in the educational spaces. For many, this was more than the loss of a coach. It was the loss of a moral anchor, of someone who embodied what mentorship and commitment truly mean. In the days that followed, tributes poured in from all corners. Former students, some now grown with families of their own, spoke of how Beam had taught them more than football. He taught them how to face life, with courage, integrity, and humility. Even in death, Beam's message remained. The field house where he fell became a place of memory, not just for the tragedy, but for the countless times he had lifted people up there. And as Oakland grieved, many vowed to carry on his work, building, guiding, believing. John Beam's final play wasn't set up on the gridiron. It was in the hearts of the thousands he had coached, mentored, and touched. It's a very difficult moment for the family and the team, including the community. I can image the pain they are going through. I am very thankful to the police for being so helpful in arresting the suspect, and the investigation is still ongoing. Soon we will know the motive behind the shooting. Do you think the alleged shooter have a personal problem with John Beam? Or probably someone sent him to murder him? Please let me know what you think about this incident. Thank you for watching this far, and kindly subscribe to my channel if you like what I am doing, creating awareness of true crime incidents.